Welcome to another GA flying video. Today we will be checking out the Miltech Mission Hub. You can already see it in the top corner. This is actually a mission created by me, and I guess I will discuss the mission in detail when we will take off. But just for now, let's talk about the basics. The Miltech Mission Hub is like a separate application, I guess, right? A separate plugin for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let me maybe enter the helicopter so it won't be so noisy. Okay. It costs, I think, $16. And if you buy it together with the MH60 from Miltech, the MH60 will have some additional functionality in those missions that like other third-party helicopters don't have, right? So for example, with the Cowansim, we can use most of the functions, but some of the activities will not be available to us. In this case, learning the Mission Hub took me around 2 hours, I guess, like watching videos mostly and reading the manual on the Miltech website. And then after I knew how it works, creating this mission was like 1 hour. But then obviously I also wanted to test it, so like another 1 hour, another half an hour, I guess. Obviously it depends on how long of a mission you will create. So first let's fly the mission and let's see how it looks. And then after we land, after we finish it, well, hopefully, then I will show you how it looks like from the mission interface. And you will see that it's not really difficult. So in general, after testing it like for a few days now, I think it's a very good investment. If you are like a helicopter flyer, no matter which helicopter you want to use, it's a lot of fun. One thing is that I think that I've heard in some other videos that there is like an additional plugin for it that creates those missions for you, like in a random way. That saying, I could not find it anywhere, so I'm starting to think that what was meant might have been the other Mission Hub, so the one from the high performance group, right? I'm not sure. For now I have created them manually. Also, from what I know, it's possible to like download and install the missions done by others. But I was like searching on Flight Sim TO and also couldn't really find anything for like the Mission Hub here. So I'm not sure. Either way, if you are into like creating stuff and creating your own adventures, this is already like fun, even if it would not be possible to add missions. Okay, so let us take a look at the description of the mission. So this was created by me, right? To be a little bit more immersive. So a ship has run aground an island close to Anchorage, because this is where we are. And we just need to survey the area and provide medical help if needed. Okay? In this case, it's a pretty easy 3-step mission, but about the details we'll talk later. Okay, so we are now at the hospital. Let me just once again show it from the outside. And we do have an empty bed, as you can see here. Okay, so let's do it then. It's actually not easy to land back here because of the trees and the and the buildings and this building. So it did make it a little bit complicated for me. That saying, I just chose like the nearest hospital to the place that I knew. So maybe this was a mistake. I'm not sure how the weather works, because you can set a preset for the mission when you are creating it. But I for sure didn't set like gusting 27 knots wind. So I'm not sure if this wind really will be a thing, or if the weather in the mission is different, right? But we will see once we start. We do have this wind indicator here. Okay, and I think we can just start now. Oops, oops, oops. Okay. Okay, and you can see an indicator before us. So this is an option when you are creating the mission. It's also possible to leave this indicator out, and then you will only have this heading that you can see here. Okay, and there are also missions who spawn the objective randomly in an area selected by you. So you might as well spawn a very difficult mission where you will have to search a very, very big area, right, to find the objective. In this case, I just chose a specific one, also because of the immersion, because I figured out if there would be like an accident close to Anchorage and the hospital would knew about this one, then they would know more or less where it was, right? In the era of mobile phones, this shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So let me just trim down a little bit. Okay, because we are pretty fast and the nose is going up a lot. We will be crossing Anchorage, so once again it's like the paver one. And if you have not like seen the prior video, I have it for many years, and like it's one of the best performing big airports that I own. So I can totally recommend it. I did buy it on ORBX. Okay, let me just turn on the autopilot, like center the heading back. Oops. Turn on heading, turn on altitude hold. Okay. And we can also set the speed. Okay, it's not far away, 8 miles, so I can already reduce the height, right? So let's go down to 400 vertical speed. Engine beep trim 1 is the binding that I'm using here, and as you can see we are going down up to 400, hopefully. Okay, let's take a look at the airport. It's really nice. I mean, maybe not as nice as the newest releases, but I'm really happy with it, especially if it's like evening and you can see the illumination. This is really looking great. Okay, sorry. Let's reduce the speed a little bit. Okay, let's recycle the AC generator because it's annoying it being there. Okay. And we are flying to the objective. So the objective in this case is to first survey the area, right? You can provide your own descriptions of what you have to do. In this case, I could have provided like a longer description of what needs to be done. But in short, this is just the place where it was reported that like the ship stranded, like, well, collided with the cliffs, I guess, of the island. And so we can go down a little bit more, click altitude pre-select, vertical speed, and engine beep trim to increase the vertical speed, or like decrease it in this case. Camera view, outside camera view. Okay, we don't need those. When it comes to those missions, you can even do like missions with lots and lots of steps. So currently I'm thinking about like a police mission in New York, because there is a NIPD livery in the pack, right? So this might be fun. Okay, let's reduce the speed so it will be easier to come to a halt. So I'm just using the trim on the joystick. And the helicopter is doing what I want to. What I want it to do, I guess, in this case. Okay. Okay, we do have some wind, like around 5 or 6 knots, I guess, but it's not the gusting 27 that was in the meter, so I'm just assuming that the weather would be like more neutral. And here we can see the distance, right? We can see the heading 231, and we are kind of on 231. So it will be also possible without this marker here. Okay, let me reduce it a little bit more to make our job even easier. And more. And by now I can switch to SAS. Okay, don't need the autopilot. And we are just taking a look around here. And let me just losing some speed and just taking a look at the crash area, I guess. Okay. Okay. So there was actually like a ship that I can spawn, but it was only military ships. It's possible to like spawn a civilian sinking ship, but then it has also like already an objective connected to it, which I didn't want to do. So you just need to imagine that we would see like a crashed ship in this place, and the next objective is to land somewhere near to look for the survivors, right? Because we couldn't see them like on the boat. Okay, so now we can go gear down. I couldn't find like a very even area, so this meadow here is actually pretty hilly, I guess, but I think this will still work out, hopefully. Okay, and let's just turn. If there is a way to add like a description in between, like some narrative of what is happening, like you see the sunk ship and are looking for survivors, right? Then I don't know how. I've checked like other videos of people that were even using the very advanced modes, but I couldn't see it like anywhere pretty much. So I would assume it's not possible yet with the functionality that is there. So let's just see that the people from the island, right, have helped those people that have stranded, and they will just load those people here, right? As I said, the ground isn't even, sorry, but it's just the location that I have selected. This is also like a problem when you want to design the mission, that you need to know the area really well, right? Because the mission map that you will be editing is not very detailed, right? It's like an approximation of what will be there. Okay. So options, toggle door, right? Okay. And let's say we are just loading the patient, right? The one casualty from this boat crash here. Okay. So loading here. Let me just. Okay, loaded. Let's go back to the cockpit and let's just close the door. Look. And we will see she is being loaded. Okay, let's toggle the door, toggle this one, and we can see this one objective was fulfilled, right? We were able to land here and like load the passenger. Obviously, loading the passenger was not the official objective because it's impossible to do, right? There is no trigger for it. But just landing in this like exact meadow here, close to the crash site, was the objective for our. And we need to return to the hospital. Actually, it's possible to also add like a timer here that would count down, so that we, for example, have only 5 minutes, right, to go back to the hospital, because otherwise we will fail the mission. So this is also possible. There are also like a lot of triggers, like reaching a very specific height, for example. So you can do a lot of stuff with it. You can do even more with MH60, because then you can also do a lot of stuff with the winch, right? And we don't have like a winch here. Even if we would have it, it would not be recognized. So let's just hope that they will add more, right? Okay, let's take a look. So we have the patient. Whoa, this is actually a pretty even place here. When I was testing it like yesterday, I couldn't find any place where like the helicopter would be not clipping into the ground. So I guess now I was lucky, right? Okay, so we have the patient. Let's not waste any time then. Okay, let me see if I have SAS on. Yeah, okay. Right, let's lock the cabin again. Okay, and let's just okay, hover, kind of. Okay, let's just gain altitude so we don't run into any trees. As you can see, if we don't have many passengers, right, then the vertical takeoff is pretty smooth. Okay, let's turn. And some more. Okay, and let's go back to Anchorage. Okay, gear up. Trim down, because it's wanting to go nose up. Let me show you from the outside. Okay. So we left the meadow and we are going back. Okay. ATT, center the heading back. Heading, altitude. Okay. It's also possible to create like a GPS route for this one. It's under like the advanced options. Okay, and we need 400, altitude select, vertical speed, and in this case the normal joystick is enough, because we don't have indicated airspeed. Okay, let me just make sure. I think we might need 500 actually, because there was like a small hill. Okay. And we can do indicated airspeed, because we are pretty fast. So just to have a little bit more control. Yeah. Okay, outside view. Let's just bring the patient back. Okay. The wind is not very strong, which is nice. Okay, let me just do altitude hold so we can be sure that we won't crash into anything. And once again, if we would not have the marker, we would have the heading, so 057. Let's just check, kind of 057 here. Okay, so it checks out. So here will be the place where we landed in the first descent video in the night, or like late evening, I guess. Let me just adjust the heading back. The approach to the hospital is not easy. I have tested it before, and like I tried 3 landings and 2 were not very good. So let's just see how this will look today. Either way, the objective here is to show you the mission, and as you can see, it's just proceeding correctly. You can adjust it a lot, like you can do a lot of rules of when it succeeds, every one of those objectives succeeds, and when they fail. And when they fail, there can be something else happening, right? So the failure can also spawn like a new objective to do, right? So there might be like the best outcome, like an average outcome, and the worst outcome. And this is all that you can do here. And I will just show you once we land. Okay, I just want to go down a little bit. Let's do 300. Okay. And engine beep trim, once again, because we have vertical speed and IAS. Okay, let's reduce the speed a little bit. Heading, heading, heading. Okay. Okay, let's change it to altitude because this one is like making me nervous. Precision height. Okay. We can turn off this one here. Click. Okay, let's reduce the speed. I mean, knowing all of the like automatic functions of this helicopter really makes it like, well, maybe not easy, right? Because you still have to use all of them and know when to use it. But I think it's just nice, right? It's not as tiring as like flying another like very manual helicopters where you get all sweaty after 20 minutes of flying. So this one, I think, at least for me, you can just enjoy for longer. Okay, let me just think about the best approach vector. I think it will be from this side. Okay. And I think I can just switch to SAS. Whoops, 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 whoops. Okay, and let's just lose some speed. And we want the gear down. Okay, a lot of trees. I'm just wondering if it's how it's looking like in the reality. Just wondering what the law says about like trees close to the landing pad, right? And like those high lamps. This would be also interesting. Okay. And the mission was successful. Really painful, I know, but this is actually my best landing at this helipad, so I will just for sure say that this was a success. I'm actually using like a landing crate plugin. I'm just not sure how to open it now. Just give me a second. Yes, please. Oh, oh, here, okay. Because I have it here. Oops. I think I misclicked, sadly, so I cannot show it to you now. Let me just... Maybe it's closed now, so it won't show. Because it's obviously like showing the wind, the pitch up altitude, and yeah, sadly, no FPM. So let's just assume that it was very smooth in this case. Still, success for me. Okay, and let me show you the landing from the outside. And this description you can also provide, right? What has exactly happened. So at least the narrative in the very beginning and in the very end, you can describe yourself. Okay, so let's go outside now. Wow, okay, not that bad. Okay guys, so let me just show you how the whole application works. So it's installed here, which means that it can also be used by Xbox users, right? Because it's inside the sim, it's not an external application. Okay, let's just go inside. Maybe let's turn down the engines. Okay, just lower the overall volume. And let me show you how this mission was being made. Okay, so I'm editing now. And here you can see this is the hospital where we are at, right? Here is like the initial spawning point, okay? And all of the rest is later, right? All of the rest happens at the end of the mission. So once we have spawned, this objective marker is spawned here, accident location, right? And also this objective marker reach stranded watercraft. And depending on what happens here, so in this case, we need to go into the accident area. If we go without 200 feet into the accident area, this will trigger this reach stranded watercraft as successful, which in turn will generate this spawn point on this like uneven meadow where we have landed. And the next objective, the marker, and once we land here, this is the landing trigger, this will also mark this one as successful. Okay? Once this is successful, it will trigger the markers back home to appear, right? And the objective also. This is pretty much how it works, right? As I said, it took me like 2 hours and some videos to understand. And I think for sure this can be refined, right? The biggest problem is obviously testing it. If you do a very short mission, it's easy and fast to test, right? If it really works out. But if you do something very complicated, then flying it and finding the error might be a very long thing, right? Either way, this is what I wanted to show you. I think it's like a very well invested $16 if you are into helicopter flying. And pretty much the limit is your imagination. As I said, I will try to do like a New York police mission, maybe with trying to find a stolen car and then like landing in a parking lot to arrest like the criminal and then going back to prison with him. I mean, it's just in my head for now, right? But those are the options. I just have this idea since I saw the livery in the pack, the New York State livery, right? That looks great. So you will see maybe in one of the future videos. And for now, I thank you very much for watching the video and see you in future GA flying videos. Bye bye.